On this edition of The Left Bench TV, we'll introduce you to a set of sisters on the field hockey team who share a special bond.
Also, a look into the unique Maryland basketball tradition.
And the story of one young athlete who's inspiring the Maryland women's soccer team. The Left Bench TV starts now. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Left Bench TV, your sideline source for all the latest Maryland sports action. I'm Noah Gross.
And I'm Annabelle Janssens. Well, fall is kicking into full swing here in College Park, and the Terps find themselves in the thick of the college football season. After two dominant wins to kick off the year, Maryland has lost their stride. Losing 3 of the last 4 games, TLB's Katie Marr and Morgan Weaver have more on where Mike Loxley's squad is so far.
Thanks, guys. Maryland football is in a bit of a rut right now. This last Saturday, they had a rough game against Purdue with their sole burst of momentum starting and ending in the second quarter. What was going wrong for them in the second half that didn't let them surpass 14 points?
Yeah, so when Maryland got behind by 3 scores, I believe 33-14, it kind of forced them in the pass mode, which isn't necessarily Maryland's strong suit offensively. It exposes Piggy's inaccuracy, and then you don't get to utilize your strong backs and McFarland and Leak, and that's why they didn't really put up much points.
Now, of course, Josh Jackson is a point of conversation. He shined in the first 2 weeks, but didn't do much recently. And now that he's out with an injury, Tyrell Pigram is in his place. So what does that mean for Maryland's offense?
I think they can win with Piggy. His athleticism and running ability relieves some of the offensive line struggles, and it makes the defense respect the run-pass option. And a dual-threat quarterback can help the running game. And also, if they don't respect him, he can go 61 for 6 like he did against Purdue.
Now, Maryland has not had a conference home game since the infamous 59-0 loss against Penn State on Friday Night Lights. So far, their conference record stands as just 1-2. What are they going to do this Saturday to try and change that?
First, the Terps need a healthy defense. The secondary is supposed to be the strength of this team, and it hasn't looked like it, especially in the past game. Too many third down conversions allowed and too many missed tackles. If that happens, the offense has potential. They now have a versatile QB, they have the running backs, and they have some wide receivers that have been really impressive to me, like Dante Demas. And that recipe is a win for any given Saturday, if they don't beat themselves early.
Yeah, now looking forward, in order to be bowl eligible, they're going to have to win at least 3 of their next 6 games. What games do you think they stand the best chance at with racking up some wins?
Yeah, unfortunately, Purdue was the weakest team left on their schedule, but I think the easiest path for Maryland to be bowl eligible is to beat Indiana next week and then followed by Minnesota and Nebraska. But you never know. A lot of these guys almost beat a great OSU team last year, so maybe they can get a steal win against Michigan at home.
That's all right. Thanks, Morgan. That's all we have for now. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Katie and Morgan. Maryland will have a chance to get back on track here in College Park Saturday against Indiana.
Well, football might be in a bit of a cold stretch right now, but if there's one team that's playing pretty well, it's the Maryland field hockey squad. Sunday marked the beginning of 5 Terp sports, all playing the Indiana Hoosiers this week. Missy Mahar's group got the first shot at them, and well, they did not disappoint. Wearing pink in honor of breast cancer awareness, the Terps, they came out hot, and they did not look back. Linda Cabano here scores her first of 2 goals, sending this one into the top left corner. The Indiana goalkeeper kept the Terps scoring within reach for the Hoosiers, but the Terp offense just became too much to handle. 2-0 Terps in the second, and Maeve Clune is going to capitalize off the penalty corner and put the Terps up 3-0 at the half. Out of the break, the Terps continued what they had started, scoring her second goal here, a complete rocket into the back of the cage off the penalty corner. Linda Cabano puts the Terps up 4-0. Quick little bloop coming off a couple deflections. Lizzie DeSoy floats the ball into the back of the cage. Terps now up 5-0. Noelle Frost would do her job defensively as well, shown here making back-to-back stops and keeping the Hoosiers off the board. After their 10th straight win, here's what Missy Mahar and Maeve Clune had to say about the shutout victory.
State the obvious, you know? I mean, are you going to, it would be disrespectful to Indiana to not compete, and it would more importantly be disrespectful to your team. So we talked a lot about the obvious And the women are very mature, and they understand their responsibility. We're a good team. We're not a great team. And if you're not great yet, you want to be great in November, and that's our goal.
Knowing where to be, whether you have to frame the goal cage in goal scoring positions like on the stroke mark or on the 2 goal posts. And I think we did a really good job of being deliberate and diligent with filling those spaces. And when we do that, we're able to succeed no matter what.
The Maryland field hockey team is in the midst of another great season. You really get the sense being around the team how great their chemistry is. And for the latest installment of Between Two Terps, Reese Levin sat down with 2 players who don't just have the same name on the front of their jersey, but the back.
Meet Brooke and Emma DeBurdine. They're sisters on the Maryland field hockey team, and their connection to Maryland started in high school at a unique place.
I think early on, too, when we started really getting into it, Jill Whitmer, she went to Maryland here a couple years ago. I forget what year she graduated, but she lived on a farm and she had a chicken coop, and they turned her chicken coop into a turf field. So we would go there and just practice with our high school team because she was on our high school team when we were pretty young. So we would go there and practice.
For head coach Missy Mahard, having siblings on the same team is nothing new for her.
You know, I've had siblings on the team before, and I can just say that it's wonderful. And they know well before they choose to come to University of Maryland together how it's going to be, if it's going to be good or it's not going to work out. They've known since birth they were going to play together. They love playing together. They love competing together. They love to outwork each other. They do quarrel super well.
But the DeBurdines are unique because
It's the first time that I've had 2 sisters on the team that will be competing together for championships and for 2 years. So it's exciting. I love it.
And while they like to have fun on the field, they have just as much fun off the field.
I also heard that you guys dance similarly. You guys have very similar dance moves. So can you guys confirm if that's true or not? Or what? Who's the better dancer?
I'm definitely the better dancer and better singer.
Better dancer and singer?
Yeah.
No? Wait. Emma,
well, she thinks she's a better singer because every time she's the only one singing in the car and we tell her, wow, Brooke, you're such a good singer, so she'll stop.
Okay.
So that's why she thinks that she's so good.
But you think you're the better dancer?
I think we have a very similar dancing style. It's from our dad. Yeah. We use our hands a lot. We just point.
like disco?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And whether they're dancing or playing together, these sisters will always have each other's backs. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Reese Levin.
All right, thanks, Reese. The DeBurdines and the rest of the Terps have about 2 weeks left in their season, beginning with a tough road stretch this weekend where they have to take on a couple ranked Midwestern teams, Michigan and Ohio State.
The Maryland men's soccer team looks to have found their stride this season. They're ranked again following a win against number 14 Cal State Fullerton 2 Saturdays ago and would look to continue the momentum Friday night. The Terps were looking for their 7th win of the season as they headed to a rainy East Lansing, and the weather would be a factor in this one. Michigan State would go up 1-0 just before the end of the first half, but the Terps flipped the switch in the second half and controlled much of the play, outshooting the Spartans 11-2. Maryland would equalize in the 78th minute as Justin Gielin headed in a set piece from Johannes Bergman. The game would be halted after 90 minutes, and overtime was not played as the referees deemed the pitch unplayable due to rain. You can see downpour right there. The Terps draw Michigan State 1-1.
The women's soccer team is quietly having a very solid season. Coming into the weekend, they already had as many conference wins as they ever have since joining the Big Ten. They had won 3 of 4 coming into this weekend, but they fell in both road games and now sit just a game over 500 on the season. Terps started their weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska against the Cornhuskers and fell 2-0 after Nebraska got 2 quick first-half goals. And things, well, they did not get any better for Ray Leone's crew as the Terps headed to Iowa to battle the Hawkeyes on Sunday. And again, they got shut out, losing 4-0 this time. Maryland managed just 2 shots on net in each loss. Despite the rough weekend, the team, as previously mentioned, is finding success in 2019. One reason the team is having such a good year is the newest member of their team, Mikaela Hirsch. You may not have heard of her as she's not really seen the field this year, but I got to see for myself the impact she makes goes far beyond the soccer pitch.
A natural on the field,
it helps me get all my nerves out,
meets a setback.
When I was 4, I was starting to limp, around on the soccer field and I couldn't walk that well.
For Northern Virginia native Mikaela Hirsch, her limp turned out to be Crohn's, an inflammatory bowel disease, leaving the young athlete unsure of the future.
In my mind, like, what's going to be going on? How am I going to be handling this? What are they going to do?
But Hirsch, now 9, has done anything but give in. Mikaela and her family have recently teamed up with an organization called Team Impact that pairs children with illnesses with college sports teams.
Oh, KK, hi.
Mikaela's team, University of Maryland Women's Soccer.
She inspires us every day, every game. We play for her because she looks up to us and she's just a character that we love to have on the field.
You would never be able to tell by being around Mikaela that she does have an illness, and whether it's on the soccer pitch right here at the Team Impact Walk or even in the classroom, she's doing a lot more than just fitting in.
She's a fighter in everything that she does. Academically, she's a strong student. Athletically, she's a strong athlete. You know, if there's something going on, she wants to be there.
After being helped by multiple gastroenterologists, Hirsch has big plans of her own off the field in the future.
I want to be a GI teacher / doctor, to a pediatric GI to help kids like me with what I'm going through.
Helping others and inspiring those around her.
Hirsch and the team have just 4 more games this year, 2 at home this week, and then they go on the road to finish the regular season.
Coming off of a historic win at home against Michigan State last Saturday, the Maryland volleyball team hit the road to Friday to play Penn State in Happy Valley and Rutgers on Saturday. The Terps did their best to compete against Penn State's 3 intense attackers. Erica Pritchard played fierce offense, recording 19 kills in the match, followed by freshman Rebecca Rath, who had 14. But Maryland fell to Penn State in 5 sets, 3-2. Maryland picked up their game in Piscataway against the Scarlet Knights. Terps lost their first set, breaking an 18-set straight win against Rutgers. But Maryland came back with the duo of Pritchard and Rath, recording a combined 24 kills. Maryland ended the weekend with a 1-1 record and moved to 10-8 on the season.
Well, the buzz is palpable in College Park when it comes to the rapidly approaching basketball season. The women's team is in the top 10 in most preseason power rankings, while the men's team, on the other hand, they're expected to have one of their best seasons in recent memory. They're getting a lot of love from a lot of college basketball insiders. Our Zach Solon previewed the upcoming seasons for both highly ranked teams.
As college basketball season approaches, the excitement for Maryland hoops can be felt pulsating throughout College Park. After both the men's and women's programs saw their 2018-19 campaigns end in the second round of the NCAA tournament, each team is poised to have an even stronger season this time around. On the men's side, the Terps did lose star big man Bruno Fernando to the NBA, but the returns of Anthony Cowan and Jalen Smith, both given all Big Ten preseason honors, are sure to help Maryland cement themselves as a force to be reckoned with. Head coach Mark Turgeon can also rely on his younger talent like sophomores Aaron Wiggins and Ricky Lindo Jr., who appear ready to break out and make an even bigger impact in their second year on the court. For the women's team, they'll be returning 90% of their scoring to the floor, including senior standout Kyla Charles and last season's Big Ten Freshman of the Year Taylor Mikesell. Head coach Brenda Freese also brings in another top 5 recruiting class, highlighted by 5-star studs Ashley Owusu, Zoe Young, and Diamond Miller. With the 2019-2020 season set to tip off in less than a month, both Maryland basketball programs will look to bring another trophy to College Park. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Zach Solon.
And the preseason accolades have already began to roll in for some Terps. Anthony Cowan Jr. was one of the 20 players named to the Bob Cousy Award watch list, awarded to the nation's top point guard. And if that does not get you excited about the future of Maryland basketball, maybe this will. Maryland Athletics announced last week the plan to build a new state-of-the-art basketball performance center adjacent to the Xfinity Center. The program launched a fundraising campaign in an effort to fund the $30 million project.
Well, you know by now, if we're talking about Ludwig Field, it's probably going to be about one of Maryland's soccer teams or maybe the track and field squad. But Wednesday night, Mark Turgeon and Maryland basketball team took to the track. TLB's Julia Joseph has more on a Terrapins tradition.
Tonight, we are taking you into one of Maryland basketball's greatest traditions. At Ludwig Field, I am Julia Joseph alongside Logan Arneson, giving you coverage from the Midnight Mile. At midnight, over 1,000 students joined the Maryland men's basketball team for the historic Midnight Mile. In addition to the run, there was a live DJ where players were seen dancing with fans and free pizza at the end of the race for all. The Midnight Mile tradition gives fans and players a chance to get hyped up for the upcoming season. On Wednesday night, players and coaches discussed how much of a success this event was given all of the spirit and excitement students bring to the team.
It just goes to show how much support we have. They came out, they bring energy. We just hope they come out and bring the same energy for the basketball team.
Coming out here, seeing the fans and getting experience with my students, all that, and just having fun out here.
I think we had close to 1,000 tonight, which is great. So it shows that everyone's excited. But, you know, it's really just kind of a fun event with the music and everything, and free pizza, T-shirts. It's really a fun time for the kids. So it's something that they'll always remember. And just for us to be, get our players around the students is big.
With basketball season less than a month away, fans and players are eager to see what the team will do this year.
We have a lot to look forward to with the basketball team next season.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno left. That's obviously a big loss, but there should be a ton of highlights from the Terps men's and women's teams this upcoming year.
Yeah, we also have a bunch of highlights going on right now. And for our top 5 plays of the week, starting off things with number 5, heading over to the field hockey and lacrosse complex, sophomore Linda Cabano had not 1 but 2 goals, helping the Terps wipe out Indiana 6-0 for their 10th straight win.
All right, to Ludwig Field for number 4, set piece, always dangerous for the Terps, and Malcolm Johnston knocks it in off the deflection. Maryland picked up a huge win, beating Cal State Fullerton 2-0 here.
Number 3, some more field hockey action with senior Madison Aguirre diving for the goal, leading the Terps with 2 out of 3 points to top Iowa Friday afternoon.
Great play on the field hockey field there. All right, I'm getting all soccer today as we head to number 2. Ball sent in, absolutely cheeky touch from Adelie Broadbent, one of 6 goals in the day against Illinois. One more look, just flicking it right past the keeper. What a play from Broadbent right there.
And for our number 1 play of the week, the pressure was on for volleyball libero Allegra Rivas, who had the serve at match point against Michigan State. This killer serve tied the knot for a Maryland win over the Spartans for the first time in program history. And for Terp of the Week, we are focusing back on the field hockey team with senior Madison Aguirre. Her first goal against Iowa, Maguire dodges the Hawkeyes defense and dove with his shot. And later she had another impressive goal with just 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in play, leading the Terps to victory in this Big Ten matchup. Later that weekend against Indiana, Maguire was also crucial to the Terps with an assist off of this penalty corner. Not to mention, after quite the weekend, Maguire was named Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week.
All right, now to Pro Terps, and we stay local for the WNBA champion Washington Mystics. Elena Deladon and Emma Miesemann may get most of the acclaim for the Sticks, but a few former Terps were big parts along the way and are our Pro Terps this week. Christy Tolliver, Tiana Hawkins, and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough are all former Maryland standouts who helped the Mystics claim their first WNBA championship. Tolliver led the trio in minutes in the finals, averaging 15 points per game in the series. She even had a double-double in the Mystics Game 3 win with 20 points and 10 assists. Hawkins was efficient throughout the whole series, shooting 68% from the field, and Walker-Kimbrough also made quality contributions off the bench. Imagine going to a school in a foreign country, having to learn a whole new language, meeting all new people, and oh yeah, playing a Division I sport. One women's golfer from Maryland is doing just that, and as I got to check out, she's doing it all with flying colors. Something new
I was pretty scared.
Isn't so scary when you find a family.
When I get to know all of them, it's just like my second family. So I love it here.
Virun Pat Olin Kitkunchai, or Oo as her teammates call her, is a star for the University of Maryland women's golf team. A native of Bangkok, Thailand, the junior was pretty nervous coming to America a few years ago. But in College Park, with teammates that come from 5 different countries, she has excelled on and off the course.
I think we understand each other really well, like how does it feel to stay away from home, facing challenges every day with school and golf, obviously. And I think we kind of have each other backs.
In her time here at Maryland, Virun Pat has earned the reputation for being one of the more fun-loving players on the team. But once she gets onto the course, it's all business for the junior.
She's totally locked in.
sometimes we joke about her being in a black box where she's just like so laser focused, where sometimes she's not open to seeing better spots to be out on the course or on the green.
Olankit Kunchai knows that she is not alone. Others have and will have a similar journey to her, and for them, she has a message.
Of course, you will be like, oh, I'm so stressful with everything. Just don't give up in what you do. Like, there will be a time where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But you just keep fighting, and like you will get through it.
Blazing a path and her competition.
Now, before we go, let's take a look at upcoming games for the Terps. You might notice quite a bit of Indiana there. In fact, Maryland plays the Hoosiers 4 times in 4 different sports this week in College Park, and 5 if you include Sunday's field hockey match. We have volleyball Wednesday, women's soccer Thursday. That game will be nationally televised on Big Ten Network. A College Cup semifinals rematch Friday night in men's soccer, and football kicks off at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. Be sure to follow along with all of the coverage on the left bench.
All right, big weekend ahead, Annabelle. Terps and Hoosiers kind of going at it 4 different times. I'm saying Maryland could, and I think they should, win at least 3 of those matchups.
Yeah, definitely. They should be especially focused on football, and the Left Bench will have all of the coverage for that. And that's all for this edition of the Left Bench TV. Thanks for watching. I'm Annabelle Janssens.
And I'm Noah Groves. Be sure to keep up with all of our coverage on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Left Bench. We'll see you next time.